What glorious wonders can you expect on the new Overwatch map? A new robot waifu? You got one of those. Do you want bullet-dodging pigeons? We've got those too. Do you want jam sessions on the piano, having the greatest, nicest time that anyone has ever had in Overwatch? The Paris map has got you covered. Experience this and much, much more in 3, 2, 1. Da, 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 da. Hi, I'm Euclidean Vision. Welcome to the new Paris map and everyone's favourite Robo Bay, Luna. I could sit here for ages and talk about her, but I'm just going to go through the map now and at least point out some of the things that I really enjoyed or that I found quite interesting. Obviously, I've sat in here for longer than I care to admit, and some of the lyrics to her song are actually pretty interesting. There's one really nice one that a lovely person on the PTR called Lily told me. One of the lines is, "My mother once asked me why I was so ungrateful." I think it's just such a kind of a dark line. It's really interesting. There's plenty more lines. I won't go through them here because I'd be here for a while then. I do really appreciate the Tournée de Luna cabaret poster. It's a riff on the famous cat poster. I think it's like Tournée du Chat poster. Got a little bar in here. This is great. But this thing of most significant importance, relating not just to Cabaret Luna, but also to this little spot, is this. Recognize the gem in the center of the forehead? Anyone else seeing that? I have a feeling that Luna is far more than just a cabaret singer. She well could be a revolutionary of sorts, maybe, or something of the like. And then we come over to this spot, which I will come back, don't worry. I mean, and there's this as well. If you look at the main square, and you look at all the advertising around robots in sort of roles of entertainment and advertising, there are some humans, admittedly. But it's mostly Omnics. I think they've even... There's some more Omnic posters here. Even obviously an Omnic cat. So, that bit of the city that way seems to really, like, theoretically pride itself on Omnics, or at least that's what it looks like on the face of things. But the Omnics are all still serving a purpose, if you will. It's kind of brings back vibes of the whole how like jazz musicians were treated in the early 1900s in America, where they were essentially owned by the white man and they were the white man's property for entertainment. Are Omnics in France not as free and empowered as they look? And in fact, the wool is being pulled over their eyes. That's definitely trying to say something about how Omnics view their existence in Paris. And just to hammer it really nicely home is equal rights for Omnics. We are watching you. It's very heavily Omnic-centric. It's almost like a little ghetto. Like, it's got an Omnic-headed cabaret club at the top. Loads of much rougher advertising down this end. It's all tucked away out of the sun. There's murals on the walls for signs of like Omnic unity, sort of the almost the pride of Omnic kind. And then this is kind of reminiscent of either the we can do it poster from I think the Second World War, or yeah, it reminds me kind of the one of the communist posters from like the USSR back in the day, whenever that was. I'm not a history buff, don't quote me. But there's some severe, and there's even some 1984 imagery going on here. You know, this is big bot, but there's something hidden under the rug, and yeah, it's evidently going to be the treatment of Omnics, like how Omnics are treated in Paris, and maybe in France as a whole, is maybe far less amenable than it looks at first, and you don't need to go actually too far to see...
A crime in all! A criminal!
Punk Omnic. Oh, Punk Omnic again. Gangster Omnic. Punk Omnic again. MC Omnic. Where's he gone? MC Omnic. And, oh, Deluded Monk Omnic. I like this guy. He's got like a bump on the head and seems to be wearing more similar clothes to something like Zenyatta that he would have worn. Whereas most of these are actually wearing very humanoid clothes, which again I'll come back to shortly. This guy especially has got very human clothes. And I like that Sexy Lady Omnic isn't wearing any clothes. Maybe like highlighting the fact that she really values her Omnicness. Whereas we've seen some Omnics in the world who, you know, who dress similarly to this. We've got, you know, obviously the come on, where is he? Where is he? Where's our nonchalant guy? Where's our deluded Omnic monk? There he is. So he's got some similarities to Zenyatta. This lady's got some similarities to Orisa, and neither of them wear any clothes. The punk one and the MC one both have very like classically humanoid clothing, and then this guy reminds me of Maximilien, yet another Omnic who we've seen to try and express some kind of connection to humanity through wearing more human-like clothes and appearing more human. But all of these guys are wanted by the police. This is not good. So, if anyone thought the Omnics had it pretty good in Paris, which I did initially on first looking at the map, I was like, oh yeah, Omnics got it pretty good, especially if you look down this way. There's... Where is he over there? Oh, gone in a massive circle. Yeah, he's by here somewhere. Ah, hello. So we have another Omnic there, who seems, you know, he's okay, but he's doing work. We will come back to in there shortly. I just want to talk about Omnics for another minute or two, because yeah, it's definitely not as good as you initially might have thought it looked from all the posters, especially the ones in here. Especially this one makes it seem that humans and Omnics get on particularly well. Like, you know, even robosexuality is totally cool in Paris. You know, if you look on this side of the street and then you literally go the other side of the tracks, and we're back to, yeah, things aren't as peachy keen as they seem, are they? So yeah, there's a lot of really nice, just cool world building done from just the set design of the level. Cabaret Luna is also a particularly unique spectacle, if you would. I super enjoy this place, and I'm not going to stick around here too long because I will just stay here. I don't think there's anyone of particular interest along here there is Thespion 4.0 who finally gets, I think, his own facial image, but I don't know who any of these are. Apparently, from some official statement that went with the release of the map, Cabaret Luna welcomes all kinds, from I think big businessmen to revolutionaries, as I mentioned. Revolutionaries. There very could well be far more to Cabaret Luna than we first thought. So that's everything for the modern day Paris. This is a manor of some name description that apparently is hosting a gala. And this statue right here, we've obviously known for a while that statues are important. Not this one. But the statues that we've all seen thus far have all been important and have largely been tied to Greek mythology. We've obviously got statues of Anubis on the Temple of Anubis, but is there any idea about who this could represent? My first idea, the only one I could initially jump to, was Aquarius of the Zodiac. But apparently in astrology, Aquarius is a guy, or it's male-oriented to some extent. Aquarius isn't actually meant to be female. There's obviously iterations of Aquarius being as a female. So I had to think, who else could it be? And then I thought, okay, so what other gods could be a water bearer? And looking into Greek mythology, there is a cup bearer to the gods known as Hebe, who is the daughter of Zeus and Hera. Now, if that rings any bells, that's because there's a Hera statue on Ilios, and I think it's actually also the statue on Rialto is also the one of Hera. It's not Athena. That's the one that's at the back of the Ilios point. So, cupbearer to the gods, Hebe, who, funnily enough, was succeeded by Ganymede, just to tie everything together a bit more crazily than it already was. So, as I've brought up statues and galas, is someone going to be giving a presentation? Maybe like, I don't know, an artist who's been involved with statues, maybe of recent? You know, just an idea, But that's everything I think that we can see of the present. That this statue right here, I am hypothesizing, is the cupbearer to the gods Hebe. Nuke Hebe. And it evidently seems that Paris itself is heavily reliant on Omnic labor in the entertainment industry, which, funnily enough, has had the societal consequence of fucking over its Omnics, basically. And the Omnics are realizing. The Omnics are really trying to look out for themselves and for their own, even to the extent where they might actually have their own face of a revolution that, funnily enough, is masquerading as the very entertainment that Paris so values. Unsure. Could be pretty interesting. Oh, by the way, the pigeons are invincible. They can dodge bullets. Just thought it was a funny little extra for you. So what do I think of the map? I think it's really good. Having played a few games on it, it's really nice to play as especially stuff like dive tanks is really fun to play this first point, and even the second point on is like really enjoyable. The second point seems a lot harder than the first. There's a lot of ways in, but they're all very tight. Every way in sort of pushes you through a choke. These are sort of the best flank routes to come through, really. But yeah, it's a fun map. Really enjoyed it. There's no obvious, like, direct story aside from the idea that there's likely gonna be some connection to Widowmaker, as this is almost the parent map to Chateau Guillard, and anything that's happened to Widowmaker, Amélie Lacroix, likely happened here. Like, if we were to have an Archives event set here, with, you know, the slight difference being, instead of having the map released with Archives, it's just released before, to sort of keep us guessing, start us asking questions as to what could go on here. Yeah, by the way, you can fly around on the hedge trimmers. But if you were to see something of the past here, what exactly are we going to see? Well, it's most likely going to be one of two iterations of Amélie Lacroix becoming Widowmaker and joining Talon. Either, and this is a mini hypothesis now, either we would play as Talon themselves, starting off probably in the Manor House, and the task of the mission would be to abduct Widowmaker and then put her through all the stuff that they wanted to put her through. I think that would be a really good opportunity to use a French Omnic who happens to dress quite like a human that I might have mentioned a gazillion times before now. I think it'd be pretty interesting if one of the playable characters and the released character for the Archives event would be Maximilien. And especially as we know Maximilien has quite a long-standing friendship, and like quite a close friendship, supposedly, with Doomfist, it'd be quite cool to see some of Doomfist and Maximilien's past in their earlier days within Talon, just before any of them managed to really take over the High Council. So I think the idea then would be you'd play as Maximilien, Doomfist, probably like Sombra, and maybe maybe not Reaper at that point. Maybe he wouldn't be part of them. Maybe Moira, maybe somebody else. Not sure who else you could really have. That's kind of the point. If this were a Talon mission, we'd either have to be playing as some of the characters that we definitely don't have in-game, like Maximilien or maybe Sanjay, and, you know, if any of those characters fits this place, it's fucking Maximilien. Or, and the idea obviously would be to kidnap Widowmaker from, I don't know, she'd say she's staying in the hotel, or something, or maybe you have to fight off Gerard as well, who knows, or some other Overwatch agents, something. Or, as we very recently learnt from the Bastet comic, that there's probably quite a bit more to Widowmaker's story than we know at present. What if the mission actually had one of your members playing as Amélie Lacroix, discovering that her husband is not the nice guy at the head of Overwatch that he appears to be, but she can't bring herself to do anything about it because she loves her husband. So she comes here to meet someone like Maximilien of Talon in order to have her own emotions suppressed so that she can kill the husband who essentially has betrayed her and everybody's trust. So there you go, a little two for one for you there. This could be the Archives event. And that event will not only show us how Amelie Lacroix became Widowmaker, but, and I prefer this idea, it'll show us that she chose to become Widowmaker, not that she was forced into it, and that her being forced into it was yet another cover story. Any of these guys, probably not important for now. So after doing a little more digging, I'm not as sure. But I'm still quite confident in the idea that this representation of the, say, the French revolutionary Omnic, I think it's Luna. So there you go. That's at least what, three theories for you. I mean, basically anyone who's done a video on the new map has mentioned the archives idea. But, you know, okay, there you go. You get some of my favourite little things. Oh, I've given you at least my favourite proper story pieces from this map. But this... a fully working piano? Awesome. That is brilliant. Like, easily sitting around on top of a piano listening to randomers jam it has been a particularly enjoyable experience. Like, that's some of the nicest interaction I've had with people in Overwatch, where everyone just sat and chilled. I've never had that in this game before. So for simply for like creating moments like that, Blizzard, yeah, this map gets my vote. It's good on most all fronts. There's some good world building, and I like how the world building itself is essentially an unreliable narrator, because you guys love that. So here he's like, oh, everybody loves Omnics, they're so free and empowered, and no, they ain't, motherfuckers. But they're empowering themselves. They are watching. And one day they might fly us to the moon. Oh, and totally Widowmaker had her own emotions suppressed in order to kill Gerard Lacroix. So I think I've just repeated that a few times now. But that is my brief dive, very loose dive into the Paris map. Let's hope that this goes somewhere, because yeah, it's a good map, but they released it without any fanfare, like at all. Like they barely said a word about it when they were leaving it for its own time so that it could feel special. I wonder how special the map feels now that the Overwatch team are like, there's the map, fuck off. But as that's the case, yeah, maybe they are using it for something else. Maybe they are using it for setting for a story detail, or to launch a new character, which, if you're going to launch any character related to this map that we know already, guys, it better be fucking Maximilien. Please. But yeah, hopefully I've managed to show you all the like real like broad strokes from this map, all the actual like things of importance that are here. There's loads of little nooks and crannies that I could go and explore and have fun with and play the piano and all sorts, but then this video would be way too long. So I'm gonna call it here, and hopefully you all enjoy the new map, and I will see you soon when the map gets developed into the new Archives event. Take care of yourselves, y'all. I've been Euclidean Vision, and may the glorious light of Best Girl shine within you. Bye.